this is interesting here because someone's going to walk out of this spot disappointed with an 0-3. Someone's going to walk out of this spot very happy with a 3-0. And there'll be some 1-2s and some 2-1s in between. Some players are going to walk out of this spot with top 8 contention still available. And perhaps it'll be Finkel, perhaps it'll be Thompson, perhaps it'll be one of the lesser-known players here.
And there's a lot riding on this draft for Thompson especially. He's a player who's been trying to get back onto the Pro Tour, has had some near misses back-to-back, missing winning ins for top 8. So a lot of pressure on this one for him.
Finkel waiting patiently here this morning. Eventually, these players will be cracking some packs along with the rest of the draft as everyone is here today. A lot of great players here in day number 2. Dan Musser with a 9-0 start. Jordan Berkowitz with a 9-0 start. Someone we haven't seen play Magic in quite a long time. Owen Turtenwald, he had himself a nice little 8-1, as did Jack Dobbin and Max Brown, former Star City Games Invitational champion. Brad Carpenter with an 8-1. He's been having a lot of success on the Open Series recently. Brittany Hamilton with an 8-1 yesterday. Oliver Tomiko, the youngster.
Former Yu-Gi-Oh champion.
Yes.
Now up-and-coming Magic star.
He is 8-1, as is Benjamin Stark. You've got Ari Lax at 8-1. Going down the names here, of course, Seth Manfield, the world champion, #1 player in the world, is 8-1.
Finkel, just like the rest of us, has just rolled out of bed.
He's ready to go. Come on. You know he got his Starbucks this morning. He's ready to cast some spells, crack some packs. Chris Benefeld, Brian Braun-Duin, Michael Majors, also 8-1 here this morning. Still talking to us, not them. So who's who here in day 2?
A good mixture of players we recognize from recent Grand Prix Open Series success, and then some old school players.
Yeah.
Chris Benefeld, Jordan Berkowitz.
Yeah.
9-0 from JB is really nice.
That's impressive, right?
He was great back in the day.
Yep.
Pro Tour top 8 to his name, Grand Prix top 8s, top 4 finish at Pro Tour Venice.
Everybody comes back, it feels like, for a sealed deck tournament or a limited tournament. At Grand Prix Detroit, my team played against Berkowitz's team kind of late in the day, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
As the head judge will make their announcements and kind of explain the rules here for some players who never made day number 2. Of course, what's interesting about this, I suppose, is that you are timed on how when you get to make your picks. So we'll take a look here at the pack for John. You see him bring a Valakut Predator right to the front. There's also a Valakut Invoker there. He's going to slowly go to that back of the pack. Painful Truths is the rare in this pack for John. He's also looking at Coastal Discovery, Sludge Crawler there as well.
Coastal Discovery and Painful Truths are in the same ballpark in terms of raw power level, so that's more of a color preference thing, though Painful Truths does commit you early into seeking a 3rd color.
Now, you'd like to be able to cast that to draw 3 cards. Not interested in having to read the bones there. And it looks like John's going to go with the Coastal Discovery.
Not a surprise here. It's possibly, objectively, the most powerful card in the pack and is in the deepest color.
Oh, passing the pack, and we'll take a look at pick number 2. Nettle Drone, Eldrazi Sky Spawner. There's also a Royal Spout there. John has just taken an Awaken card to start his day. Sky Spawner are a very powerful blue common in this format. He's just taken a blue card to start with Coastal Discovery. Wouldn't surprise you to see him take the 2-1 flyer.
Royal Spout's among the best non-rares in the set, and is not an unreasonable follow-up to taking a blue card, but I think Finkel at this point just wants to leave his options open, is going to take the single blue color card.
So he's made his selection. He'll pass his pack. 2 blue cards to start. Blue, a very popular card amongst the blue, a very popular color, excuse me, amongst the players here this weekend. It was very impressive and sealed. Silent Skimmer. Sludge Crawler. Also a Rush of Ice there. He'll take a Rush of Ice.
Nothing spectacular here, but I think the black cards in the pack, not powerful enough to make a commitment here. John knows he's blue. So, again, just keeping the options open.
Yep. He can go a lot of different ways as far as the splash color is concerned. Red is still available, obviously. Black, all that good stuff. Another silent skimmer. We saw him stop on that last time and bring it forward again this time. There's a spawning bed, Myers Malice, a card that he's moved forward. Very powerful and sealed.
And I think based on what occurred in the last pack, John is getting a sense now that black is an open color. And he's going to take Myers Malice here. This does not necessarily commit him to black, but this pack and the pack previous suggests that black is open to his right, and I think he's going to move in a little bit.
So now he's got his first different colored card here in Myers Malice. That'll be the selection. He's 4 picks in. We'll go to pick number 5. Eldrazi Devastator there. Looming Spires, Oracle of Dust. Also Demon's Grasp. It looks like he wants to work his way into blue-black here. And it looks like Demon's Grasp will be the choice. So now, again, working his way into a blue-black deck. It appears.
And that's a pretty big commitment there, as Oracle of Dust is a fine card to take if he wants to leave his options open. Demon's Grasp, the better of the two, though, especially with Finkel not having anything in the way of ingest just yet.
Finkel will take a look at this pack. Unsurprisingly, there are plenty of green cards there, so it doesn't look like anyone's making the move. Snapping Gnarlid among the bunch to Drew Beastmaster as well. Looks like John's considering a Spell Shrivel, however.
Who's ever green has the pick of the litter.
Yep.
They're all there.
We knew it would happen.
You're playing a top-end green deck, you're playing an aggressive green deck. They're all in John's pack right now. He is not moved by this, but someone at the table hopefully is.
I don't even think that's a blip on the radar here for Finkel. Wavewing Elemental, Dispel. There's another Snapping Gnarlid for you green fans out there. Eldrazi Devastator as well. Dispel to the front. Well, it looks like it might be Wavewing Elemental.
This is one of those picks where Dispel is a very powerful sideboard card. Finkel needs to have a sense of, is he going to have enough playables for sure where he can afford to make a pick for a powerful sideboard card at this stage, or does he need to make sure he gets to 22 playables?
Another Rush of Ice, another Wavewing Elemental. Silent Skimmer as well. It looks like John's going to go with the Skimmer.
At this point, he's solidly blue-black. There's no question about what his second color is, and the Skimmer is the best card there, so he doesn't need to make some sort of pick to leave himself open.
A Valakut Predator, Transgress the Mind. See what else is lying around in here. Looks like there might be a Blighted Fen there, but he's going to go with Transgress the Mind, a card that was very impressive, in my opinion, in Sealed yesterday.
I think the Valakut Predator was in John's initial pack and was something I think he was contemplating taking with the first pick.
Yeah, briefly considered.
The fact that that wield is valuable information for John.
John will take a green card there.
I don't think Finkel has any desire to move into a third color, but if he does for some sort of converge card, it might be red, because red appears to be somewhat open.
I like the defensive drafting that John is doing here. He's blue-black. Blue-black typically has a decent amount of flyers, so he's taking a Giant Mantis and a copy of Plummet. Defensively drafting them, I would say.
There's some value here in passing, green cards and white cards and red cards to just indicate to the person to your left that it's open. But Plummet and Giant Mantis are powerful sideboard cards against the deck that John's trying to draft, so worth cutting those off.
Scour from Existence and Looming Spires he picked up there. Scour from Existence, a pretty good sideboard card, and then Reclaiming Veins, the last one. And now he's going to go through, organize the cards, and do it a little bit by curve here. But we know he's blue-black. I don't think that's going to change now.
Nothing too fancy here for John. The archetype he's drafting right now is Light on Synergy. It just looks like a blue-black flyers with removal spell style deck.
Yep.
Did not get anything that great for his efforts here besides the Sky Spawner, but I believe John was sufficiently patient in waiting for the table to tell him what the open color was. He got confirmation it was black. Now, he did pass a lot of black to his left in pack 1 in spite of moving into it. There was the pack before he moved in where there was a Silent Skinner and a Myers Malice. So pack 2 might be a little light on black. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Time to lay out pack number 2 now. Keep in mind the pack's going to go the other way this go around.
But John really sent no powerful blue cards to his left.
No.
And that's a win for him because he's solidly blue.
Dampening Pulse. Ooh, hello. Hello, Drana. That is a nice rare to open. He's solidly blue-black. It looks like the base of his deck are flyers. And Drana's just a powerful card.
Doesn't want to make a big, fast windmill slam here because that gives away some information that you opened a powerful rare, but I think it's going to be Drana. Especially John's deck does have a cheap base of creatures. A lot of blue-black control decks, they don't necessarily have the critical mass of cheap creatures to make Drana that powerful, but John's got a lot going on in his bottom end, so this is going to be good.
Pack's going to the right now here for John. He lays out those cards. He'll be receiving a pack here in just a moment. Can't be too unhappy opening an on-color rare.
Good start.
Yep. There's another Demon's Grasp. An Eldrazi there in Deathless Behemoth. Clutch of Currents, very powerful. And not too much else going on in that pack, though he is taking a little bit of a look at the Eldrazi there.
Deathless Behemoth is quite good, but I assume this is going to be clutch.
Those are the two cards that he is considering right now. Always good to take a look at the other cards. Maybe he can wheel that Tightening Coils, perhaps. Good to know, but not too surprising to see clutch. One of the premier commons in the set.
I don't think it's that far off from Deathless Behemoth, and if John felt like he was lacking powerful creatures at the top end, maybe you can make that pick, but this early on, I would take clutch. Plenty of opportunities to fill out your deck with Eldrazi later.
To the next pack we go. There's a Cloud Manta, Celestial Night Watch. Those are the two cards that Finkel will bring forward. Flying so powerful in this format, and it looks like the Manta will be the selection. Nothing too exciting about a 4-mana 3/2 flyer, but fills the curve, gives the beats. Pretty decent pick. Not a lot to choose from there.
An easy pick. I mean, the Night Watch is not bad. John's deck does not gain life, though, and again, if he's looking for blockers, there's ways later on in the draft to fill that out. So at this point, just take the premier flyers.
To the next pack we go. A Nettle Drone there. And John stops with the Nettle Drone. Also sees a copy of Anticipate. Gruesome Slaughter. But not a lot of blue or black, it appears, coming this way. Would you agree?
No, I mean, he hasn't gotten anything that awesome, but every pack, there's been a fine card for him to select. I'm not panicking if I'm John. And there was an expectation that pack 2 would be maybe a little rough because he did pass a fair amount of black downstream, but he's been able to take a solid blue playable every pick so far. So you're not getting the bomb uncommons and rares you'd hope for outside the Drana you open, but this is not bad.
Anticipate was the selection. Bloodbond Vampire is one that he's got at the top. Breaker of Armies is in the pack, and now there's also a Sludge Crawler. So he's going to bring those blue and black cards forward. Perhaps he's looking at old Sludgy.
John's going to be tilting his mana a little bit towards having more swamps in the deck now that he's opened Drana. You want to be able to cast down turn 3. So something like Sludge Crawler becomes a lot more powerful for him. Before, it was looking like his deck was going to be heavy blue and maybe playing black 1-drops would be challenging. Now it's going to be easy because of Drana.
To the next pack we go. There's another Anticipate, another copy of Breaker of Armies. Some more green cards that nobody else wants.
They're all there.
Who's our green player? Who's it going to be?
And you can see a difference here between draft and sealed right now, where Breaker of Armies, which is one of the best non-rares in sealed because the games go on for so long, is just floating around the table here.
Yep.
No one's interested in taking it. John looks like he's drafting a deck that may just play 17 lands.
Altar's Reap, a Plummet, a Coral Helm guy. That's a late one of those.
Foil Island.
Yeah.
Foil Island.
It's hard to pass up.
Come on.
He's gonna let the Foil Island go.
Come on.
I know.
First.
Just leaving value on the table like that, I understand.
A bird in the hand, John. Who knows if that guy's even making the cut in your deck? That island is just yours forever.
I see green. Ooh, Emiria Shepherd. That's a late one. But again, it's draft, not sealed.
It still just might be worth cutting off at this point. There's no playable for John.
John is going to select the Emiria Shepherd. As you mentioned, there was no playable there. Probably doesn't want to play against that card. So he'll select that one. There's a Stone Fury in the pack.
I think it's close between him cutting off that and the Boiling Earth, because Boiling Earth's not bad against John's deck.
Sure.
But the Shepherd's probably safer, and it's a rare.
Yep. So he's basically rich now.
Yes. He's doing well for himself. I mean, setting aside the island fiasco.
Callisto Nightwatch is the selection here for Finkel. We're almost all the way through pack 2 here, and it appears to be a good start.
Yeah, pack 2, I think, went fine for John. Opening up the drawn is great, and he didn't get anything that great passed to him, but the first couple packs all had solid playables. and he was able to fill out. Looks like he got a pick in basically every pack, and now he can be fairly aggressive taking sideboard cards if he wants to, because I don't think there's any risk of John not getting to 23 playables.
Blighted Fen and a red card to round it out. And now he'll take a look at the deck. So blue-black.
Yep.
Not a bad spot to be. I know a lot of people like that archetype. He's going to separate the cards by curve now, get an idea of what he's working with. And when you're doing this, as you're looking and reviewing your deck through pack 2, for pack 3, you're just kind of thinking, how do I fill it out? How do I get all the way up to 23 or 22 playables?
Yep, and John got, from my count, 7 solid playables in that pack, 8 if you're willing to count the Night Watch.
Sure.
So he's on pace to get to 23.
Okay.
It's going to be close. He's not going to have a lot of wiggle room, most likely.
Now, to me, for what John's looking for in this deck pack is he needs a little bit of removal. We don't have a card like Complete Disregard yet.
Yeah, he doesn't have any of the premier removal. He's got Demon's Grasp, a Rush of Ice, and a Clutch of Currents. But he is a little light there.
So I think he might value spells a little bit over creatures in this pack. We will see. The creature base appears to be pretty good with Drana kind of leading the troops.
Well, that's the other side of the equation, is that with Drana in the deck, you also have an incentive to be drafting creatures over removal spells, particularly flyers. So
well, it's time to check how many cards are in the pack and then eventually look at it. It's my favorite feeling in a booster draft on day 2. You get to sweat it and see what the rare is.
The moment of anticipation.
Yes.
Just get to see what's going on.
When that feeling gets old, I'm done playing Magic. When I can't wait, when I don't care what the rare is anymore, I'm not doing this game anymore. Kozilek's Channeler, Clutch of Currents. You got to slow roll it past that Brood Monitor. It's a Serpentine Spike.
Powerful, but not something John can move into at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be the case. It would be very difficult for him to splash. Looks like he's just going to take a Premier Common there and Clutch of Currents yet again. So that'll be a second one of those.
And I've seen now at this point multiple copies of Resolute Blade Master floating around the draft. There could be a very good red-white ally deck at the table. Not something John can concern himself with at this point. Has to take Clutch.
Yep.
But something to look out for if he's playing against Plains and Mountains in one of these rounds.
Next pack is on the way. We'll see what he wants to select here in just a moment. I think Finkel's off to a very nice start in this draft, even though it is coming to a close here soon. We'll see what this pack yields. Another copy of Demon's Grasp. Wasteland Strangler has been brought forward. There's a Bloodbound Vampire. Also another copy of Cloudmancer if you'd like a second one of those.
I don't know if Finkel has a lot to enable the Wasteland Strangler. I know he has a Sludge Crawler and a Spell Shrivel. It's a little light, but there's other opportunities to fill it out, and a 3/2 for 3 is not so much worse than the 3/2 flyer. That this is a medium risk, high upside pick here compared to just taking the flyer.
There could be some real payoff here.
Yes.
So the Strangler is a selection.
And again, he already has a little bit to enable it. It's not as much as he would like, but it will come up even if John's deck doesn't get any more ways to enable it.
You can take another Sludge Crawler if you'd like, and now there's a Complete Disregard.
That's a perfect card to see at this point. John's deck light on removal, complete disregard, one of the better commons in the set. Helps out with the Wasteland Strangler. I think John was happy enough to see the Sludge Crawler in the pack, so complete disregard is a huge coup.
Almost feels like a perfect pick. So now a removal spell that does exile creatures and turns on the Wasteland Strangler, a thing of beauty. Now it's time to take a look at the next pick here for Finkel. Rune Processor, Herald of Kozilek, a Merc Strider. Skyline Cascade. Okay, another Sky Spawner. It appears he's in the right colors, folks.
Getting paid off for that patience in pack 1. Waiting to move into that second color. Waited until black was clearly open, and this has been a really good pack for him with Wasteland Strangler and complete disregard.
And now the Sky Spawner, so 3 very good picks in a row. What's going to come next here for Finkel? Retreat to Baraga. Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. Another Coral Helm Guide. Ulawog's Nullifier.
That's a nice one. I don't think John's going to be enabling the processing part of that card very often, but just 2/3 Flash Flyer for 4 is not a bad deal.
Yep. Looks to be your blue-black draft at the table. It's John Finkel. Let's see what this pack yields. Oh, boy. Noyandar.
Nope. I mean, he might take it to cut off and own, but I don't think that's going in the deck. He has no mana fixing. His deck looks very solid as it stands. And Calling Drone is a great pick for him. He has picked up some things that are demanding some some ingest, and he's a little light on early plays. So
You were very, very straightforward. Not tempted by the rare there, were you?
nope. I mean, even though it is, you would also own it after the draft is over.
Yes.
Moves the dial a little bit too.
Something to put in the old binder.
Something for the binder, something for trades, maybe in between rounds, but
Dispel the selection here for John.
could be the last playable, could just be a fine sideboard card.
Yeah. Let's see what's next here for Finkel. See a processor assault there. Unnatural aggression. Looks like it'll be processor assault. Unlikely to be played.
Even if Unnatural Aggression is a more powerful card, which is arguable, the fact that there was another green card in the pack doesn't mean you're cutting off a playable from the theoretical green drafter, so you might as well cut off Processor Assault.
Sure. Mindraker is going to be the selection. That does wheel around the table, excuse me.
That's nice. I mean, that could be the last playable in the deck. This is a good card to see this late.
Not too much going on here. I don't know if we got that green drafter here, Patrick, that I'm hoping for.
It's probably one person.
Yeah?
But
Just by default, there has to be one. Wavewing Elemental, I believe, will be the selection here for John, and it will. Go to that next pack. Sandstone Bridge. looks like the old Beastmasters in there.
John says enough. Fine, I'll cut off. I'll do some due diligence here and cut off one of the green cards. That's fine.
Gonna take the Courier Griffin there. I guess I'll take this green garbage. And hey, there's a retreat. So that'll round it out. Non-color retreat will round it out for John Finkel.
And I think what separates John from a lot of drafters is taking Rush of Ice third over Royal Spout. I think going blue card, you're off to a good start. Royal Spout is very powerful. I think a lot of people would have just made the move and locked themselves into blue-white, or maybe try to draft a 3-color deck. Finkel took Rush of Ice, much less powerful card, but kept his options open, waited until he was sure black was open in front of him, moved into it, and got really paid off in the third pack there.
It's an interesting strategy, though. He just wants to kind of keep his options as open as he can, because I agree with you that Royal Spout is the more powerful of the two cards, but